This is a joke about this preacher moved in town, you know. And his wife had passed away, and he moved up on this whip on this hill, you know, and he didn't know a whole lot of people, so he was trying to get established. He had a church to preach in, and he looked way down. He had a pair of field glasses. He looked way down next to where the town was at, and he saw a great big red barn all down there, you know. You can see a lot of people out there, a lot of horses, sheep, chickens, and all kinds of stuff, you know. So he just wondered what was going on. It's pretty close to town, you know. So the next morning he's out in his yard doing a little shrubbery working on. This little boy come along, and he had a little box holding it in his hand, you know. And he looked at him and said, "Son, where you going at?" He said, "I'm going down to the red barn today." He said, "I always have stuff down there to swap on. It's kind of like a flea market." And he said, "You know, I like to go down there and swap." And he said, "Well, what you got in that box?" He said, "I got a horsefly." He said, "A horsefly?" He said, "What are you going to do with a horsefly?" He said, "I'm going to swap it for a horse." And that preacher looked at him. He said, "Son, you must have been playing me for a fool. You know you can't swap no horsefly for no horse." He said, "Yeah, well, just wait and see. I don't know, but I'm going to try." Went on a couple, 3 hours. The preacher was still out there doing the work, and he come up the road riding the prettiest Tennessee walker you ever seen. I mean, just doing a good job on all, you know. Preacher just shook his head. So went on the next morning, he's out there doing a little more work at the edge of his garden. About the same time, about 10 o'clock in the morning, the boy come by and he hold his hands like that again. He said, "Son, what you got this morning?" He said, "I got a cow fly." He said, "What are you going to do with that cow fly?" He said, "I'm going to try to trade it for a heifer or a cow or something today if I can." He said, "Why do you want to keep telling me stuff like this?" I said, "You know I don't believe nothing like this." He said, "I'm an old man, and plus I'm a preacher." He said, I don't believe nothing like that." That evening, here he come with the prettiest little Jersey cow you ever seen. Had a rope to a swing coming up just as slow, you know. That preacher just said he just couldn't understand that. So the next morning, he was out there doing some work again. The boy come by, and he was really taking his careful in, you know. He had his hands up here holding like it. That preacher said, "Well, son, what do you got this morning?" He said, "I got a ladybug." He said, "Wait till I get my hat. I want to go with you today."
That's pretty good, Larry. All right.